Hello people and welcome to this lecture which is based on data types and typecasting. What is data type? It is nothing but the type of data we are storing inside a variable. We need not to explicitly define data type all the time. PowerShell is smart enough to automatically assign a data type looking at the value stored inside the variable. Example, I am creating this variable and assigning a value of 10. Now to check its data type, I can just call getType method on this and we can see its variable of integer data type. Now let me just put this value inside quotes, and now if I check its data type, see, it is showing as string. How it happened? Well, PowerShell noticed the value is inside quotes and hence automatically assigned this data type. We will establish the concept using few data types in this lecture, and later we will encounter new data type as and when needed. So we have already seen two data types, integer and string. Integer can be number of students registered in this course or number of minutes each student is spending in this course. Maybe string is a text value data type. It can be your name, my name, or the course title itself, for example. Another important data type is Boolean. It can hold either true or false and nothing else. Just don't go by this thinking that because it can just hold two values, it must be ignorable. It must not be that much important. It is very important data type, and our decision making inside a program solely relies on this. We will see more of it. For now, let's see integer data type by example. So we have created these two variables. We can add, subtract, divide and multiply using these mathematical operators. It is interesting to note that though we never declared a data type of these result variables, but PowerShell has automatically assigned a data type to them. You want to see? So all other values are integer, but this divide variable is not. Why? Because it is storing value which is not integer. Look, it has non-zero digits after decimal. So PowerShell understood this and assigned this double data type, which is suitable for storing this kind of values. This modulus operator is represented by percentage sign and it is used for getting the remainder. I hope you are clear with integer data type. I want you to pause this video and visualize this problem. Your elementary math knowledge will help you in understanding this simple problem. Think of some similar problem and use PowerShell to solve it. Let's move on to another data type, string. This is used to store the text values. These are different ways to create a string. To create a string type variable, value has to be either in double quotes or single quotes, but they are not same. Let's see this by an example. So I am creating a variable and then simply printing it. Can you predict the output? Let me execute first one. So it is printing the value of this variable. Now let me execute this second statement. And you can see instead of printing the value of temperature, it is just printing the variable name. It is because second statement is inside single quotes and hence value of variable could not be resolved. Whereas first one was in double quotes and hence value of variable got resolved. Alright. When you are working inside double quotes and you don't want to expand or resolve any variable, you can use PowerShell's escape character before the variable name, and then variable will not get resolved as PowerShell will ignore or escape it. You will find button to print this escape character in your keyboard right before the button for printing 1. Let's see some string operations now. Length of a string can be accessed by its length property. To check whether string contains a particular word in it or no, we can use contains method, and it will return Boolean value of true or false. To check the index or basically the position of our keyword inside the string, we can use index of method, and it will tell at what place our keyword matched in the main string. It will return -1 if the keyword was not found in the string at all. If we want to change all characters of our string to uppercase, we can use toUpper method. Similarly, we have toLower method as well. To search and replace a particular word or character, we have replace method. Let's see how it works. Now I want to show you a special case of string. Sometimes we want to store entire paragraph inside a string variable. Now any string can store it, but if we have quotes inside it, then it's a problem, right? Also, if we have variables inside this string, they will get expanded if we want to store inside a normal string. Let's see this by an example. So in first case, you can see we are getting error because of these quotes. But if we just enclose this same string by @sign, our problem is solved. Now we can store it inside this variable. Also, if you don't want to expand the value of variable, you can store it inside single quote, and your variable inside this will not be resolved anymore. Also, you will not lose formatting while storing it inside this variable. This is called here string. Using is operator, we can validate the data type of any variable. It is a good way of writing a script. So in case we strictly want a string data type variable, we can use is operator and it will return true if variable is string, else it will return false, and accordingly we can proceed in our program. Now we have discussed so many methods. Can you remember all of them? Well, don't worry if you cannot. Just put a pipe in front of a variable and type getMember. You will get the complete list of methods and properties which are applicable on any variable. Pick whichever method you need and don't waste your time in memorizing these methods. Now let's talk about typecasting. We have seen earlier that PowerShell assigns a data type automatically. But sometimes it is good if we explicitly define the data type. Example, we are getting input from a user via console. We asked user to enter age. We really can't trust that user will enter integer only. They can enter age in a string format also, right? So our code should be smart enough to take care of these things, and typecasting can help here. There are two simple ways of typecasting. Either we can define the type in left side, and then once we declared it, we cannot use this variable for storing any other data type value. So if you are declaring it in this way, you can be sure. So if you are declaring it this way, you can be sure that value will be definitely integer throughout the code, but variable is no more reusable for storing other data type values like string maybe. There is another way of typecasting, that is declaring type in the right side. In this, variable is allowed to store other data types also, and you can reuse it later in the code. Main advantage of typecasting is validation of data. So it is important for us to be sure about the data type of variable we are working on. If our script is doing a critical task and we are taking input from a user via console or a file provided by some third party, we cannot afford to get our script crashed in case mistakenly a wrong dataset gets entered as input. So we can avoid this type of scenario by using data type in correct way. Alright my dear students, it was comparatively a long lecture and now you are good to have a coffee. I am going to have mine. See you in the next lecture. Take care.